Hey everybody, my name is Rick Fatscher, and I'm the host of the Man in the Arena. Tonight, you're listening on Facebook and YouTube, and we appreciate you being here. I'm sorry we can't answer your questions and comments. This is Arthur Lee taking notes.
What's up?
We're going to start the show, but we're going to tape it out of order. That's why you're not hearing the Mike Rowe song, which you normally hear. That's sweeping across America. We're going to start with Mr. Ray Priebe, Mr. 3000. So re-rack.
Re-rack. Wow.
Whoa. All right. So I'm going to count in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everyone. We're back. Final segment of the Man in the Arena. As always, we are joined, Arthur, by Mr. 3000. Mr. 3000.
Good evening, men, women, children, all forms, really, in the arena. How are we doing?
All forms. We're inclusive.
All forms.
If we're nothing but inclusive.
Hey, man, LifeVac saves everything.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Judge.
And the way it should be.
How are we
I have
doing
a special guest for us tonight. Who do we have here? Climb up here. Who's that?
Oh,
There she is.
Oh, boy.
Hey, there she is.
Hey,
Going
there
out
is
live,
Little
going
Miss
out live on the Man in the
3000.
Arena, but also on YouTube and Facebook. There she is. Princess 3K.
Who is
Maya
burping
Priebe.
down a chicken wing right now. Don't worry, we have a LifeVac.
Yes.
Hey, folks,
Yeah,
my
you
name is
almost
Ray,
didn't.
coming to you from Cape Coral, Florida. I am Mr. 3000. This is Little 3000. She was the 3000th person saved by LifeVac.
Thank goodness you can say 3,000 because I can't.
It's been a lot of work, trust me.
Hi, Princess.
Is that it? You're going? Oh, okay, you're coloring.
She's out.
All right.
That's all.
Let's get
That's
into
all
this.
by a law that we're allowed to speak to her. It's about 30 seconds, and that's
Well,
due to
That's
her
Maya,
age.
boy. That's Maya.
She has a SAG card.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, listen, folks, we got some great numbers for you. Great numbers. Let's throw these numbers out there real quick. It's been 284 days since I saved this little princess right here. 1,434 lives saved in
Amazing.
284 days. It's just amazing numbers. It's just,
Crazy.
when a parent thinks about running into a situation like that, when their child is choking, nobody wants to face that. And as you'll hear in a little while from our highlight of the week, there's situations when people are trained professionals, and sometimes first aid doesn't work. So, folks, get a life back.
Hey, Ray, quick thing. 284 days since you saved beautiful Maya, 1,434 lives. Next week, I want you to make a prediction that on your 1-year anniversary, what number we're going to be at. Just you.
Okay.
Because I know you're good. You and Donna are great at analyzing and making sure we get proper numbers. So I'm excited to see what you think when on your you and Maya's 1-year anniversary. What you think that gross number is.
And we do have, first available to those folks that like Ray Priebe who have saved a life with LifeVac, a big contest coming up.
Yeah, we don't have to work it
Don't
yet,
have
but
the
we'll figure
details.
it out.
It's in the works though, and it's going to be big.
It's going to be huge.
Huge.
Going to be huge.
That's awesome. Is it as huge as these numbers that we have?
Probably
Do
not.
it, Ray.
Bobby, run that number for me, Bobby.
2,705 children, 4,434 lives, and oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Those are just spectacular numbers. And again, I'm so dumbfounded on the 284 days and the 1,434 saves.
no.
It's just in 284 days. In less than a year, we're going to hit 1,500 in less than a year.
Oh yeah. Well, that's your homework there, Mr. 3000.
Oh, I'm going to have a
very
number
accurate
for you.
number that's going to be on your anniversary.
I'm going to have a number for you, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But let's get into the highlight of the week, shall we?
Do it, Ray.
On July 27th, a 1-year-old boy from California choked on a cookie, causing a total obstruction. The device saved my 1-year-old son. The device saved my 1-year-old son's life today. I am a nurse practitioner, and my husband is a critical care nurse.
Whoa.
So they're trained, to say the least.
Because I'm the
We both
doctor.
know what to do when someone is choking. My husband did firm back thrusts multiple times with zero success. My son was completely blue and about to pass out when I handed him the LifeVac. He did 2 attempts with the LifeVac, and on the second attempt, the cookie he was eating became dislodged and he started to breathe again. I mean, that is just the ultimate testimony right there that first, the recommended first aid doesn't always work. In the case of Maya, it didn't work then. We were CPR certified, we were trained, and it didn't work. The LifeVac is what saved the boy from California and the little girl right here.
Oh, Ray, that's funny. It's not funny, but it's an important PSA part of what we do on this show. When I heard 13 years ago the 7-year-old that choked to death, I was dumbfounded. He was in a hospital, and I said, why didn't they do, the Heimlich in the protocol? And they said we did. And I was like, what? Didn't work? Because when I took the course, they didn't tell me it might not work. Right.
Right.
Do it until the object comes out. So
Yep.
I was walking around fully confident that if Jackie choked, I could use the back blows and chest compressions and abdominal thrusts, and she'd be fine. And that was a moment. Like, I'm sitting there going, what do you mean it doesn't always work? So,
exactly. And when you're a parent and faced with that situation, it's traumatic is what it is. Arthur and I have spoke to many people, many different platforms, and again, it's next to impossible for me to not get choked up when speaking about it, because again, as a parent, you go back to that moment when in the moment you're not freaking out, you do what you have to do, but afterwards you're like, that I could have lost her.
Well, think about it too, that part of our obligation as people, as humans, as parents, is to kind of address these myths, right? I did not know it did not always work, right? And I'm sure a lot of people say, I'm trained, I'm good. And the kindness and courage and appreciation to this family that shared, we are trained and it did not work. And nothing against them. We all recommend getting trained. But it's important that the public know, man in the arena, that it doesn't always work. And it's nothing against protocol, nothing against Red Cross. Just physical moment.
And there are alternatives that you can get. A LifeVac
now there is
that will increase your chances. And I'm telling you, it's funny. I actually gave away one of my LifeVacs to somebody who needed it.
That's him.
And ever since then, it's like, oh wait, I don't have my LifeVac with me. When I travel with my family, we always have one. But when I'm running solo, I'm like, oh, I don't have my LifeVac with me. So I'm going to chew extra careful now because I don't have that. So again, once you have it, once you live through it, you never want to be without it.
Well, it seems like there's a slogan coming out of you at this time.
Yeah. What is that slogan? I believe it's LifeVac. Better to have it and not need it instead of needing it and not having it. The life you could save could be your own, or your kids, or your wife's, maybe a stranger. Who knows?
Wow.
You're the best, buddy. I so appreciate you.
Love you guys. God bless. Have a great evening. Maya, say goodbye.
Bye, Maya. Bye, Kitty Face.
Bye. We'll see you next week.
See you soon.
Oh, it's always
Go
great.
Swimming.
Always great to see Mr. 3000 again when Maya is there to interrupt, to make noises. It's fantastic that she's able to do that because without LifeVac and without her dad being there, and for those, we should always mention the 2 bystanders that came by just in case Mr. 3000 didn't have a LifeVac. 2 other motorists stopped by on the Florida highway.
But
so it's getting everywhere.
When you say save a life and 4,434 number, seeing Maya and hearing her, and she is life, man. I've hung out with her. She's 100 miles an hour, fearless, beautiful kid, just everything you want in a little rambunctious kid going nuts. But that takes 4,434 and puts a face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone who's sitting with their child in their lap and is watching and sees her bouncing around, that's when you get it.
Yeah. And
it's
the flip
not just
side,
a number.
The flip side of that is the 5,000 people a year that die.
Well, we keep
you know, we
plugging
know,
away to
and
stop
we
that.
know families that advocate now for LifeVac that fortunately before
Yeah.
didn't know about LifeVac, it wasn't around, lost a child, and now they advocate. I think of the Chambers, and I think of the what are the other families?
Oh God, there's Chambers, there's Colson's crew with Colton, there's the Maddoxes, and
Brugmans.
there's the Brugmans, and sadly quite a few.
And you mentioned the courage of these folks to share their stories of the save, the highlight save.
Well, I was right on those instances,
Heroes.
the heroes, because they've already suffered the loss, and their goal is so no one else does. You know, that's true courage. That's kill a mockingbird. That's you're already lost, but you're doing it for others.
And there he is, Mr. 3000. You know, at this point of the show, we usually end with Mr. Mike Rowe. So if we have it queued up, Mike Rowe, take us home.
It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.
That was the end. So you want on.
It's a little like I'm in a time zone here.
3, 2, 1. Hey, Bobby, in order, we're still live on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
You don't adjust your sets, but now we need the opening song. The same song again.
Oh, okay.
It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Man in the Arena. My name is Rick Fatscher, along with Arthur Lee and Steve Oliveri. Of course, Arthur
The
Lee.
legend.
Yes. And why is Steve here? Because he's a great guest, number one, and also because he fits the category that you talk about in your book, Sorry Can't Is a Lie, of a wingman. Ultimate wingman.
Yeah, well, we got a kind of cool show tonight. I think with everything that's going on and some of the other episodes we cover with, you know, you can't believe what you see. How do we develop friendships when we can't believe anything? That it was time to re-talk about it. And it also is important because, you know, Mike Rowe's song, and we have an awesome guest that we've become friends with that is his wingman. So it's a
Chuck
cool show.
Klausmeyer.
It's a cool show. It's
Yeah, coming
really
up.
gratitude for our friends, I think would be a good one.
Yeah. Steve, welcome again. Always a pleasure to have you back in
Always
the
a
studio.
pleasure to be here.
Now, how far back now, as far as wingman, were you immediate wingman to Mr. Arthur Lee? Would you say
Remember the
that?
first day I came in, we were in Associated, right?
Yeah.
In that
logistics.
stupid little closet
Yeah, no
around from
room
the
downstairs.
cafeteria.
Yeah, right.
Well, you were just another.
I was
right?
I was just an agent like you in the beginning, and then I became what they call a lead agent. And from that point on, I was kind of like
When were you my boss?
6 months after we met.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Oh, it worked out wonderful.
Was he tough to manage?
No, he operations, you know, being specific on paper and stuff like that.
Wasn't his strong suit?
Wasn't a strong suit, but his selling ability was always his strong. So his personality,
Passion.
is able to talk to people, his passion, selling the product. He was an inside guy for a long time, and he was just making
Built
things
my
happen
own
all the
career.
time. He kept on building stuff and bringing more accounts in and stuff like that, which eventually led him into becoming an outside rep. When after he became an outside rep, you were vice president in no time in sales.
I don't even know. It
Yeah.
became something. I just made it up. I made my own position. I had my own assistant, which is really the president's assistant. I was just winging it. And
Yeah, but you would always
I used to interrupt Norman and say, Norman, I need Terry for a minute. And he'd be like, it's my assistant. He was the owner of the company.
Yeah.
But his assistant and I
took charge.
were friends. And so she would like do my admin work. But it really got to the point where I'd be like, Norman, I'm trying to get some work done. And he was such a good guy.
He must have appreciated because you were doing work for the company.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I used to get yelled at for running because I would run in the office to get, I was getting stuff done. And I remember going by Lou Santangelo's door. So I would run to the door and then I'd walk real quick and then run again. But I guess looking back, I might have looked like a little bit of a lunatic because I remember getting looks from like all the regular people because I'm this little schmo in customer service, and I'd be in meetings with the president, the owner, the vice president, and me. And they'd be like, what the heck is that kid doing?
You know, I can
Right?
see it now, but and you've talked about this where you wouldn't have the passion that you have now, but I believe that you did, saying that I'm representing like shipping or logistics and doing those types of things, and now you save lives.
Well, I was always 110.
110.
Whatever it was. And you know, I go back to when I cleaned rooms at Grumman, and I brought in my cleaning supplies and my chrome. I took apart the sinks and cleaned them better, and they were like blinding. But you know, you don't know how much you meant to me in that. And you know, that was my first kind of comeback from the accident, right? So I had my accident. I got my shoulder operated on, and it blew apart, and it was all these problems. And then, you know, I was now graduated. I had worked in air freight for a long time, but in, you know, driving a truck, working on the dock, and then I did some office work, and it was really nothing. I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. And I came in and got an interview and got the job. And when I first came in, we were in a little closet. I mean, it was really
Probably a little bigger than this whole
Yeah.
area. Seriously.
and it was him, this guy, Rick Calcagno. It was just me, you, and Calcagno, right?
And then Larry Healy was the guy that was the manager of the department.
He left like soon after I was there.
Yeah.
And then it was Alan.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But this is just a few listening. That was what, 40 years ago?
Well,
Almost
At least.
30.
At least.
No, we're 60. So yeah, it was right
61.
around.
Yeah.
So
right.
it was
yeah.
around 40 years.
Yeah.
But him being who he is became a friend of mine. And
Right.
he says, you know, you were kind of quiet in the beginning. You're such a lunatic. I was still trying not to kill myself, you know, just because it
Literally.
was such, it was
Very
such a
traumatic
horrible
time for you.
in my life.
right.
But when you go into the wingman segment and combining it with some of the challenges of being on your phone and texting, you don't know the impact someone can have. Like in our audience, my friend from second grade, right? I came up with the LifeVac. He's like, I'm in. What do you need? And I think it's more important than ever to talk about our wingmen and women.
And honor them.
Well, and just share the importance of developing those deep friendships and the good ones, the ones that will last a lifetime. Second grade. And when I was doing LifeVac in the beginning, most people that they didn't know for 40 years or in second grade said, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You psychopath.
Thought you were crazy.
You could take a sink plunger and change the world. Yeah, of course you are. Holy cow. Honey, don't answer the door when that guy comes by. Well, you were the first one. Well, first off, Steve
The
was
story.
with me,
Right.
because I was a wingman to you that night.
Yep.
Talk
Audie
about that.
was
Let
like,
me ask you, Steve, before you get into this story, I'm just curious because I'm thinking about it in my head that you know each other for a while through work.
right.
How many other people visited you when you were with your mom in the hospital?
His lunatic cousins.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cousins?
my cousins were there
Family?
that night. Yeah. Oh,
Family?
yeah. And it's a, you really.
But do you expect
I don't
Arthur?
think anyone from work came.
No, nobody from work came. No, Arthur was the only guy from work. But sometimes you really find out when you really need help who your real friends are. You
No
know what I'm
doubt.
saying? So when your cards are down, those are the people. And I also think that wingmen come in and out of people's lives to help them. Some people don't even realize they're a wingman, and all of a sudden they're gone. Or some people stay together forever. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I
but I
think,
think on a wingman, the ability, because I have people like that too, that you cannot talk to them 5 years, you'd pick them up. So I'm in town, my car broke down, they'd say I'm on my way.
right.
Because they're in their, you're in theirs, and
Right.
they're in yours.
Yeah.
Got your back.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was down. My mom was in ICU. And next thing I know, Audie's outside ICU calling me saying, hey, what are you doing? I'm here to hang out. Help me. Because, it was tough. It was a tough time.
Sure.
And then we went down to the cafeteria and we started talking about choking. And that's how the whole story
Well,
came
no,
about.
we were upstairs in the waiting room. Your mom was like just behind the door.
Oh, I showed
and
you the gurney, yeah.
And freaked me out.
Yeah.
And then we go down to meet you crazy cousins,
Right.
and I'm starting to expand, and they're
Right.
like,
A lot
they're
of people.
crazy, and they thought I was crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people hearing this for the first time. So
Yeah.
talk about, you relaying what you saw the day before.
Well,
or that
what
day.
happened was when Audie was there was a gurney. And I said to Audie, last time I was in the hospital, I watched a child pass away from choking. It started with that story. And then from that story in the hallway, really, where the gurney was, then we went downstairs into the cafeteria, and then we started elaborating a little bit more on the story. And then what happened was the next day, Artie didn't sleep all night, right? Which is not unusual for me to get a text message saying I didn't sleep, nothing. And he sent me a picture of a prototype that he made that night.
Wow.
And it was there was a product that was out
The
that used to pull
earwax,
wax out of
ear
an ear.
vac.
Yeah.
And he put a mask on it, and he actually called the guy. I think you actually called the guy.
Well, I was trying to see if I get a CO2 cartridge to make it spin quicker to create more suction, and you click it like a gun.
Yeah.
But
What did the earwax guy
couple
say
flaws with
to
that.
your call? Did he?
Well, it turned out they were a total scam, and they avoided the FDA. And after 2 years, the FDA.
Fortunately, it was
shut
safe because they were dealing with earwax.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, he said to me, I can't get the story out of your head. So, we talk about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like what I tell
Oh,
you.
we have very funny stories.
Yeah, we
too.
have really-
Oh God,
Intellectual conversations
that
mostly.
too.
Going
Oh,
over
yes.
Niagara
Yeah.
Falls.
Yeah.
too.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
another
there
story.
you go. There you go.
So, he said, I can't get it out of my head. I'm going to invent something. And kind of like, okay, but I'm used to that,
Yeah.
So I'm like, and
if
I
you
know
read the book, you'll know.
Artie is just basically.
By the way, get the book. Sorry, Can't is a Lie. You can get it now through a publisher,
Right.
but you can also get it at the website lifevac.net
Amazon.
right. But,
or Amazon.
for me, him saying that, I know something's going to come out of that. Most people are like, okay, whatever you want to do. Eventually, it came out of it. I knew like he was hot on it, and then eventually he did his first
Well,
prototype.
to keep in mind that when we spent 10 years at Associated, and he and I were together, 99%. He was my boss. I was trouble. But, after that, I started my own company, and Steve was developing his
International.
own fantastic
Yes.
MassCon Global. And I told him, that'll be part-time, Steve. Come
Yeah.
work with us. And then 20 years later, the kid almost died because he worked 48 hours a day. But
And we're gonna,
that was when I started. I needed Steve.
Yeah, he came. He literally Artie gave me a little bonus, and like it was actually investing, funding a trading company.
Yeah.
It was basically selling Harley Davidsons overseas. That was the idea. And
Once again, a wingman, great idea. Of it.
yeah, so then Artie comes over, and I'm working out of my mom's bedroom. That's pretty much how I work.
Oh, you were in a closet. You're in a bedroom.
Yeah, and he comes
Is
over.
this the mom that Arthur fell on?
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
okay.
I didn't
yes.
fall on. I tackled it.
The great thing about my mom is she saw LifeVac before she passed on.
Isn't that cool?
Oh.
Yeah. And she said to me, she held it in her hands and said, he's got something.
Yeah, finally,
She said
Wow.
that.
she knew me as a little
Yeah.
rambunctious,
Yeah.
at the
But
time.
and she knows, he's.
And why did you tackle her again?
I want a hug.
Oh.
She was big, and we fell over the bed and got stuck in between the bed and the wall. Things happen.
And Mr. Oliveri, I think we've covered this on an early show. Mr. Oliveri came in and said, Steve?
Well, we could have
Yes.
100 shows on me and him's
Yeah.
adventures.
Yeah.
To circle back,
Yes.
I don't know when we're going to break. When are we going to break?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. So the circle back was, the development of wingmen in your life. And then because of this, going from being in a closet and him in his bed and doing something, right? And the ability to embrace your wingman. I was looking, Jackie has 2. And I have Lenny sitting here from 2nd grade, Steve here 40 years, Mike Singer bailed on us, stupid wingman. But there are a handful, right? But not 1 or 2. And I worry with the phone that there'll be none. Like, I don't know how you get the depth of the relationship like we did, right? Our immediate friends were geographic. It was the guy next door, same block, someone I used to ride my bike to Lenny's house. And now you could be texting and it's concerning because to do what we did, right, with LifeVac, you really need wingmen. And those are people that are going to be there and take the risk and, take a dream and say, hey, maybe you can do it. I'm in. I'll help you. So I think the story in today's segment is about being conscious. Who are you, wingman? How do you be one? How do you get one? And what you can accomplish when you have them. So, we are the ultimate example. And the fact that, I was in the lowest spot of my life when I came into that stupid office, and it really, in essence, saved my life. And, you were a big part of that. So you didn't know, it took a long time before we ever broached that aura.
Right.
So
It was quite interesting when we went out for the first time, though.
Yeah,
Because
no,
when
you can't-
because when we
I don't
worked, he
think
was
you
just
could tell
me and
this.
this guy Rick. He was no, I won't go. But he was just a quiet little guy, and he never really talked.
You didn't
much.
see him in the element.
Oh my God, no.
Oh,
No. Then I
foxes.
saw him in the element.
Probably a good time for
So
a break.
he says to me, he comes out to me, why don't you go with me and my friends? And I'm like, we're going to library. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah.
And then we
Well, that was
we
an
went to
eye-opener.
Foxes. That was the first time we all went out. Went to
That's
good old
Lisa's.
Foxes.
That's
Yeah,
Lisa's something.
I was so
And
happy
then, like,
Lisa's-
I brought some of my crew, different that I didn't know, as backup because I don't know what this guy was up to. And I'm looking at him. My friend's like, your friend's really a nutty dude. He's really nutty.
He's not the
And I'm
quiet
looking
guy
like,
in
that's the
corner.
same guy that I work with? And I
Yeah.
remember talking to Rick. I'm like, he's crazy because Rick wanted to know what was going
Yeah,
on.
because you had concerns about me.
We had some concerns. And,
And then we all found it.
yeah.
Well, listen, we have another wingman for
I
Mike
know,
Rowe
I'm so excited.
coming up when we come back from the break. So join us on the other side for more of The Man in the Arena. We'll be right back.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Dad.
That was us over 10 years ago.
Now, LifeVac is responsible for saving over 4,000 lives from choking.
In the time it takes you to pick up the phone and call, another life could be saved.
The LifeVac saved my life in 1 to 2 seconds.
Protecting families has always been our mission. I'm sure you love your family like I love my daughter. Do us all a favor and get your own life back now.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-LifeVac. Order now.
Hey, everyone, we are back on The Man in the Arena. My name is Rick Fatscher, along with Arthur Lee and Steve Oliveri. Arthur Lee, of course, the CEO and inventor of LifeVac. And we are blessed to be joined by Chuck Klausmeyer, senior creative producer at the Micro Works.
What's up,
He is
Chuck?
known.
There
There he
he
is.
is.
Everybody, hold your applause.
Oh, stop.
You heard it.
silly man.
Did you hear that? Because you insisted on applause to be on the
Yeah.
show.
It's in my rider for sure.
And there it is.
Yes, we signed that contract. What were you listening to the first part there? Did you hear us?
Yeah, I heard about 15 minutes. You guys talking about the wingman stuff. I'm really curious as to how you wound up on Steve's mom. That's odd.
Yeah, no,
Me too.
hey,
That doesn't
My
happen
mom
every
was
day.
worried about that, too.
you know, that's a teaser in the business. That's like Fonzie jumping the shark. You got to tune in next week to find out about me tackling his mom. But for you, I mean, one of the really cool things that has happened as we tried to get the word out there is you meet different people, you know. And when we met Chuck and we did that segment with Mike that he was so gracious to have me on, you get to know him, right? And you were doing a segment with Mike, and you have the exact language with it, but you said something, he said something like, how long have we known each other, right? And how long have you known Mike?
44 years, maybe, something like
Right?
that. Yeah.
So, and then, you know, we had the good fortune to hang out and to go to, you know, Brian Kilmeade's show and to go through the Valley of Fire.
that was unfortunate,
You got to
huh?
meet a, you got
That
to meet a
wasn't our best
sane,
moment.
you know,
on
Steve
the-
doesn't
It,
go on
it was
that.
it was a good time, and it's good that you bring that up because I was just looking through my photos, and you were a wingman in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
for me.
There you go.
We were walking through the casino, and somebody said, "Is that Chuck?"
Oh, that's right.
You remember this?
Yeah.
And this pretty blonde comes up and she goes,
Yeah.
"Are you Mike Rowe's Chuck?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, I've never been called that before, but yeah."
Oh, take it.
I suppose
That
I'll
was
take it,
actually
yeah.
fun. You were the celebrity there. I hung in with you, man. I was playing you up, which isn't hard.
Hey, listen to this thing that I called from the internet.
Uh-oh.
Mike Rowe was asked, you know, how do you get to be Chuck? How do you get to be a wingman? And he said, that's easy. Be my friend for 42 years. Show up whenever I tell you to go and wear whatever costume I tell you to wear. There's only one Chuck Klausmeyer. I'm afraid, and he is in much of what I do because the older I get, the more important old friends become, especially ones with talent. That's good.
Wow.
The attached
My God.
video
Where'd
contains
you dig that up, Rick?
Mike Rowe
Just saw
told
it.
us to write it
I
because
can Google.
he was worried that you were going to dump him. But hey, how nice is that you didn't even know that?
Yeah, I don't know what where he said that, but that sure is nice.
Now, fill me, like, you heard the thing, and me and Steve go way back, and my second grade friend is sitting in the vast audience of two. But
That's Mike, right?
Yeah. How'd you first meet Mike?
You know, I don't remember the exact moment, but I know that it was in high school. I believe it was 1978 or 79, one of those two. And we were both in the music class.
Oh, okay.
And we both sang bass at that time. So we were sitting next to each other and we became friends.
We should
Now,
mention.
I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just going to say we should mention that Chuck is part of that song. Is part of the LifeVac
Oh,
song.
yeah, of course
Yeah.
he is.
Oh,
But-
that's right.
Did you hear it? Did you love it?
Oh, I love it. But let me ask,
Okay.
what in your because see, when we're older, we don't have to rely on faith. We have a basis of education, right?
Mm.
When you're younger, you think a guy's a great guy, and you hope and that they'll be there for you and you'll be there for them. What is it? What do you think it was that made you guys stay together?
You know, we could tell each other anything.
Right. That's
You know, and I can count on one finger maybe the times that we've been mad at each other.
Do you really count on one finger? Isn't that just one?
Well, it's just I can only think of one time, and it really wasn't. You know, it was really
Probably
nothing.
over a
But
girl.
the way that Mike describes it is that the older we get, the more old friends mean.
Yeah.
And I think that's really true. You
Right.
know, it's it doesn't matter how much time passes in between seeing one
Right.
another. When you do, everything falls back to where it was the last time you saw each other. And you can speak in a shorthand. We used to finish each other's sentences in
Uh-huh.
high school, you know, and so it's just just endless practical jokes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh my God. We were at dinner and they were telling me something. Remember, Laura was tempting to come up with some scary.
Oh
Right.
yeah, she
Joke.
she was determined to scare me, but
She's
I
good
did
at that.
scares us.
so many crazy things, you know, happened over I remember one time being in a bar with Mike, and we were standing off in this corner. I went and got some drinks. I came back, and we were standing there, and there was a pipe that was going down, you know, like in the corner. It was just a pipe by itself. And Mike said, "Man, this pipe is really weird. It's like if you press into it, it just flexes, you know." And I go, "Really?" And he pretended to do it.
Right.
And then he goes, "Give it a try." And then I pushed into it. The thing was as hot as the sun. And I just was immediately like, "What the?" And he must have laughed for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, who wouldn't? But you know what? That's such a valid and important point of Wingman, man. We are allowed to goof on each other. We're allowed to torture each other. We're allowed to play jokes. And
Right.
I think as we distance ourselves from the intimacy, really is, right? It's that I'd call Steve 4 a.m. and tell him something, and he'd say, "All right, great, you know, shut up, you idiot." But he would pick it up. And if I was stuck, he'd come and get me, you know?
Yeah.
And we've known each other since Fairfield
Mhm.
on the soccer field, and you explaining how you're going to tell Mr. Watson.
I'm gonna
you
tell
won't
him what's
spend
what.
the time in goal all the time and show him. And I'm like, holy
I thought
crap, he's
I
gonna
thought
talk
you'd be
to
an
him.
agent for me.
Yeah,
I assumed that you'd be my wingman.
that probably would have been fine.
You were a neighbor, right,
But-
of Mr. Watson.
Yeah, no, I love Mr. Watson. He was no job. But I guess the point is that to share for the audience and for kids and for people that the embracing the people that are there and could be there. And, you know, look what you and Mike have done. Like, look what you've accomplished together. And, you know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been an amazing ride. Honestly, you know, I never expected to work for my best friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was the furthest thing from my
I know the
mind.
feeling.
I used to work for my best friend, and
Yeah.
now he works for me.
Yeah,
He
Well,
finds it
maybe-
much easier, I think, working for me.
yeah.
But, it's not
Gotcha,
the
yeah.
stellar
I was
employee.
always getting called into the office.
Explain, Artie.
But
Chuck.
yeah, Chuck, that's a cool thought.
Chuck, there's a story here I have about you securing a job for Mike Rowe at the Baltimore Opera.
No,
Okay.
actually, that's incorrect.
See?
It wasn't me at the Baltimore Opera. That was another guy named Mike Gellert.
You cannot trust the internet.
You can't trust the internet. No, but I'll tell you, I did get Mike got me a job working at American Eagle Outfitters.
The same American Eagle outfitters that are now embroiled in a controversy?
Yes, indeed. Although nobody looked like Sydney Sweeney when we worked there, let me tell you. But it was in Golden Ring Mall, one of the first malls in the country, you know, and he got me the job. I came in there one day. He told me he was working. I walked in. I'm like, what are you doing in here? He's like, yeah, I'm working. I go, well, how do I get a job? He goes, I don't know. Talk to this guy. And, you know, 2 days later, I was working there as well. And so one day on my lunch break, I walked around and there were movie theaters in the mall. And there were like 7 of them or something.
Multiplex.
You were multiplex. This was like one of the first. Like I'd never seen a multiplex before, and I loved the movies, and I knew Mike loved the movies. So I applied there, got a job, and I came down. I said, "Hey, man, you know, because the movies were upstairs and the American Eagle was downstairs. I came down. I said, I just got a job upstairs. I think you should come up there." And sure enough, he came up as well and got a job.
You got to hear something crazy. This is crazy. This is Wingman. Why? I couldn't even write this. Well, I can't really write too well. You and Brian and the gang all worked at the movie theater.
All worked at the movie theater.
Who got the first job there?
John Cooney actually came down to
and then
me
he got
at
you
Sbarro's.
And Brian.
Yep, I got Brian, other guys that we went to high school with. But so Brian Kilmeade came and joined us. The big question was, what color was your tuxedo jacket?
Oh, red.
Us too. UA. United Artists?
Yeah, United Artists.
You and me.
It's like mental. Because look what happened. Him and Mike went on to this incredible team. I mean, Mike Rowe is awesome in his Will Rogers approach to common sense in life, and Chuck's his wingman. So they're a team.
That's crazy.
And you and Brian do a show, and Chuck has some experience with doing shows with naked people, but we'll get to it. But yeah, but think about that. Amazing. What year do you? Any idea what year?
What year that I was at United Artists?
United Artists.
Oh yeah, it was like 80, 81.
Right around the same time. Right around the same time.
So
and what
think
state?
about this. Think about this.
In Maryland.
There is a potential that Chuck and Mike Rowe went to work to rip tickets, and you and Brian went to rip tickets, and Brian and
let
Mike
a lot
Rowe
of our friends in. Yeah,
have them on each other's shows.
Amazing.
Rick, did you ever get any of the one sheets? You know, the posters? I have a couple that I'm like, I can't believe I have it.
I have Neighbors. I have Neighbors. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
Nice.
And I had Vice Squad, which was a movie that
you really picked.
No, Neighbors was great. But tell me, Arthur wasn't the most prevalent movie that everyone wanted to see, and it was in there. I don't know if it was 81 or 82, but Arthur with Dudley Moore was there.
Kind of appropriate.
Oh, we had a lot of them. With the Shining came through. History of the World Part 1 came through.
Love that.
But the movie poster one sheet that I have, and you know the way you know it's an original one sheet is it has the creases. They used to fold up the posters and mail them to the theaters. True story. But I have Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Now, just for fun, it's something you probably would never sell because it's more memories than it's worth. What's that worth? You know?
You know, I've never even looked it up, but everybody I tell about it goes, that's got to be worth something. So
much more than my Vice Squad.
Now, do you have Vice Squad might have been the wrong choice of poster to hang on.
Well, we quoted that movie. Mike Ragusa and I and Brian would quote that movie endlessly because it was that bad. It was like bad opera.
Yeah. Well, sometimes
horrible.
if it's that bad, it becomes
Wings
good.
Hauser was the star. He played Ramrod.
We didn't let you know this is really a Vice Squad movie premiere.
Yes.
But think about that. So these two teams are in the movie theater with their red velvet jackets. And then we've all seen those two on TV interacting. Right?
I wonder if Brian, when I saw Mike Rowe on Brian Kilmeade's radio show talking about you, Arthur Lee. That was amazing, amazing little clip where he said, you know, hey, I want to thank you for introducing me to your friend. And Brian looked a little dumbfounded at first, but then I made that introduction.
Well, I don't think he's used to someone bringing me up to him.
But I wonder if those two guys, Brian and Mike Rowe, know that they were both UA ushers around the same time.
I bet they don't.
I don't think so. I don't. We've never talked about it before. I was surprised to hear it, Rick. So I'm going to mention it to him.
Back on the show.
How come we didn't have movie jobs?
I was going to say at your era, I was an usher at the RKO movie theaters.
Are you serious?
Competition.
What jacket?
Nice.
They had black,
brown.
Oh,
Yeah,
Brown.
Oh God.
Brown with the big lapels.
At some point, UA did go to Brown, and it was I was out of there by that time.
Yeah.
Brown with a cream colored shirt. It looked
Yeah.
awful. The red and black.
Who
so
knew
nice.
this show was going to go to movie attire?
Yeah.
No
in
one.
the
Nobody
80s?
knows.
Nobody
Nobody knows.
knows.
that.
Let me tell you, one of the extra things that I did. I don't know if you did this, Rick, but we had a giant marquee that was on a major road where the mall was, right? So, and it had 7 movie theaters. So I could make an extra $20 if I would go and change the sign.
letter.
You climb up the thing.
No. Had a giant,
Suction cup.
pole,
Yeah.
extender pole, and it had a suction cup at the end, and you would you would lay out the letters on the ground, and then smack the suction cup on the front of it, lift it up, and try to hit it in this where you need to hit it, and then pull the string to unsuck the thing. It took probably 2 hours to change
We
them.
had
all,
that
but-
out on Sunrise, but
Yeah.
they never allowed any of
On
us
Rockaway, I
knuckleheads.
worked on Rockaway Boulevard.
Did you ever
and
do the suction cup thing?
No, they used to give us a ladder with nobody. I'd go up there by myself.
No.
No safety whatsoever. Here's 30 letters. Go up there by yourself. And
Hey,
be up
I
there
was
by yourself.
17. They threw me keys to a 28-foot Mercedes truck and told me to drive
And
to Manhattan.
the
I
ladder
a
was completely
different
rusted out.
world.
Really?
No protocol, no safety.
Where was OSHA when you needed them?
Yeah, right.
Where
They weren't
was
there.
OSHA?
They definitely weren't
No,
there.
it was.
Yeah, and that was a job I had to do in the rain,
Oh, yeah.
snow.
Yeah.
It was
Bitter cold.
Like the mailman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Blue of night.
I think it's really cool, and I appreciate you being on because those moments to come up like that, right, are real symbols of wingmen, right? We worked in these stupid jobs together. We laughed together. We grew together. Those jobs don't exist. You can't work at the mall; it ain't there. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And they changed the sign with a flick of the switch, and a
All
lot
electronic,
a lot of our friendships were from those jobs, and experiencing the good luck, hope you don't die, go change the sign.
Yeah.
Too bad.
This next question might be prying a little much, but did anyone get in trouble, Chuck, for I guess running their own ticket booth out the door? Half price?
No, we were smarter than that, Rick. We
people did.
never got in trouble.
No, of course these two.
Yeah, I don't even know why I asked. That's a
I
embarrassing
used to
question.
let my friends in the back, and the manager comes on one day. We didn't sell one ticket for that theater. And it's like, how is that possible?
Well, I remember the exciting thing was when a multi-theater, how you could go from movie theater, you go in the bathroom, I'll sit here when they change, we'll get on the other line, and all these fantastic schemes that were made together.
So,
Well,
go ahead, Chuck.
sorry, I got one thing that we used to do all the time. I started this, and then Mike and I would take turns whenever we had a packed house. One of the jobs you had to do is to go down to the to the thermostat and check the thermostat in the theater. In our theaters, they were always down underneath the screen or off to the side. So you go down there, you get your little pen light, and you look and you check the temperature, and then you walk up the center aisle again. Well, I would walk up the center aisle, and then I would turn around and look, and then trip over my own feet and just go ass over teacups, land on my face, and people would just go, "Oh!" And they would want to help me up and everything. I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm fine. And I would limp off. So I told Mike, I said, take a look at this. I did that once. And then we would amuse ourselves. Because when the movies are playing, there's not a lot to do.
Yeah.
No.
You get up all the popcorn, and then there's a lot of standing around. So.
Well, see, that's the other thing that they'll never experience is the boredom of sitting. I worked at the beach and picking up garbage, and if it was rainy day, you kind of just sat there and looked at the sand with rain on it because you didn't have a phone, you didn't have radio, you just sat there like a boob, and your mind would wander. But we used to play. Remember, we played basketball with the garbage, and we'd be throwing, and making fun of each other. But that's another thing of wingmen, man.
Absolutely,
It's a big sport,
entertain
very
each other.
big sport.
Yes,
Statistics.
yes.
You
Hey, Chuck.
remember last week's game, all that stuff.
Hey, Chuck, can you stick around? We got time for a quick break, and you'd stick around, or we
You
got to
bet.
go?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, man.
More with Chuck and Steve and Art and myself. We'll see you right back after this message.
She started to choke on a piece of candy.
She wasn't breathing.
Then Ray reached for the LifeVac, and it saved her.
She could have easily died that day. A LifeVac saved her life. What I would say is don't need a LifeVac and not have it. Have a LifeVac and hopefully never need it.
Recently, the American Red Cross has added anti-choking devices as an option when standard protocol fails or is not feasible.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-543-3822.
And we're back on the Man in the Arena. Again, Rick Fatscher along with Arthur Lee, CEO and inventor of LifeVac, and Steve Oliveri, Director of Operations for LifeVac. And hold the applause for Chuck Klausmeyer.
Required for Chuck.
What would you like to talk about? With our vast audience, what would you like to talk about, Chuck, with your work with Mike Rowe?
Oh, well, I mean, we do a podcast, a weekly podcast called The Way I Heard It with Mike Rowe, which is a lot of fun. We've been doing it since, I think it's been almost 10 years.
Wow.
We've been doing
what advice can you give?
Well, first
couple of
off,
clowns like us?
people listen to Mike Rowe's podcast. Him
Absolutely.
and Chuck, their guests, their messages. I mean, I think, it was like spending time with Ben Carson, and I wished he could be 10 minutes in everyone's house, change the world. Listen to Mike and Chuck, and it brings back reality to the world. So in the plug world, please, let's get some common sense and wisdom and friendship back into the world. So,
well, listen, Arthur, thank you for that. And I just want to say that it was great to have you on the podcast. And I can't tell you, literally, one of the most proudest things I am of is the fact that 16 people are alive today because somebody heard about your product on our show.
Yeah, but that reinforces the show you and Mike do, because it addresses real issues. I guarantee you guys have saved lives in other ways, where it put someone on the right path or inspired them, or all the work you do with the trades. And the cool thing about that is it's quantifiable. These two guys saved those lives, because when we get the report, it says heard about it on Mike Rowe. And I got to tell you, the other really cool thing about that, the people that ordered from seeing the show, nicest people on the planet. Right. Every single one of them. We never had a kind of a mean
a jerky.
No.
So,
you got a good audience there, Chuck.
Well, and I think it's a beautiful thing because of his and Chuck's message of common sense and friendship and all the things that they talk about. But thanks for bringing it up, because that is the coolest thing ever. And I remember when we were at dinner and getting to know each other, how fun it was. And that is the background of it, meaning you can develop a friendship and change the world, which is really the wingman philosophy.
Absolutely. No, and I really do appreciate what you do so much. And we are going to have you back on, Arthur. I know Mike promised you, said, come on back when you get 1,000, but who knew you were going to get 1,000 like that?
Coming up on 5,000.
That's what I mean. So when you hit 5,000, you're coming back on for sure.
That sounds like, hey, look, I love you guys, and I appreciate what you did, but we're at 4,434. So regardless, it's working, and you guys are a part of it, and that's what really matters. And
well, I'll tell you, I feel a part of it. I really appreciate you inviting me to come out to Vegas, where I got to meet that little girl who was saved. What was she like? How old was she?
2. I think she was like 2.
Oh, I think she was like 18 months when it happened.
Yes.
And,
you remember her eyes?
Beautiful eyes, beautiful baby. Yeah. I remember the mother saying, I felt like it was her first time parent.
Yeah.
And she's like, I feel like I've got everything under control. I'm prepared for anything. The only thing that scares me is, what if the baby chokes? And that's how she came to get your product and came to need it.
Think about the beauty of that trip, right? It was wingman, and we felt it with you. We wanted you there. We saw the Valley of Fire. We saw the mountains, and we got some, spirituality and grace and humble. And then we meet a kid that we saved together. And
amazing.
You want to jump from, maybe dragging a little bit to kind of remembering how wonderful things are and how we can do something with our wingmen. That was definitely a trip to prove it. Now we drag Rick out to one of these. You're next. We're gonna make you do something stupid.
Okay.
You missed the multi-venture. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
You missed the multi-venture. We missed you.
We put him on a
Yeah, the
motorcycle out to Yosemite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What'd you make it? 10 miles?
Yeah, it was a good 10 to 12 miles. I made it out on the highway. It didn't. No one talked about the wind as much as the wind playing that much of a factor. I felt like I was going to Chuck literally blown into the desert. I pulled over. I tapped out. Unfortunately,
It's
no one was there to
it's
witness the
kind
tap
of
out.
like
I just stood
making you touch a hot pole on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we did. You got this.
there. It was great.
It was great.
Yeah. I grew.
Absolutely.
Well, Chuck, and then I appreciate you being there for us in Vegas, witnessing probably one of the worst, at least audio portions
Yeah.
of
Poor
the show
Pat. Remember
for History,
Pat
Liberty,
getting
and Laughs.
crucified when they were yelling at Pat LaFleur? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, that was crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh.
But it was cool to get to hang out with Brian afterwards.
Oh, it was awesome, and that was a great show. And I loved the fact that you guys were partly inspired by 6 Degrees, which is the show that Mike and I did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know, so you're Rick, you're kind of the Chuck counterpart, I think.
Yeah, you are.
You know, in putting
Left
on
there.
several hats to play different roles in something. So
Absolutely. I
once
remember
again, man,
he
that's
did
the
reference.
full
He did
circle.
reference. I want to do something like Mike does. Mike and Chuck are doing this where they bring history to life in a fun way, and
Yeah.
we continue to do that. We're going to have a new next show. I don't know the exact date, but it's coming up in Dallas.
And then you're
coming up.
September in Richmond.
September in Richmond.
I think I'm
It's
going to
gonna be
go
great.
if you want to meet up. September 27th in Richmond is Brian's show. But we'll
Nice.
talk. We'll talk.
All right, great.
But
Appreciate you so much.
I plan on riding. Maybe I'll try and kill you this time.
Maybe.
All right.
You've been trying. It hasn't worked yet.
I'll keep. You know me. I don't give up.
No, you don't give up.
Well, Chuck, we'll say goodnight. We thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it as always, and we'll see you next time on the arena.
Yeah. Hey, thanks,
My
Chuck.
pleasure. Thank you.
Again. What a great guy.
So
you know,
great.
crud. I meant to talk about. We had one of those just ridiculously silly type jokes.
Bring him back.
No, that's fine. So
Come on back, Chuck.
we got.
Can we
we're
bring him
having
back?
Oh,
There
there
he
he
is.
is. Yeah, I got to
Haven't gone
tell
anywhere.
the shrimp cocktail joke.
Shrimp cocktail joke.
The shrimp cocktail joke. I don't remember that.
Oh God! So you had a nice little drink, and someone went to grab a shrimp, and it fell right in his drink. And Mike Plunk goes,
They're all.
"You ordered a shrimp cocktail." And obviously, if it was any more than a split second, it'd be like kind of corny.
Yeah.
But it was instantaneous. The shrimp in his drink, and Plunk says you ordered a shrimp cocktail.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the kind of guys you want to hang out with. You can nail a joke in an instant. Now, do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember it. Yeah, once you mentioned it, went into
Yeah.
the drink. Yeah, that was pretty
We
funny.
had some good jokes.
That was a really great trip. That was a lot of fun. I had a
It was
blast.
lot of fun. It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. And like I said, it had the combination of nature and spirituality and the save, and then just camaraderie, laughing. You attracting all the women in the casino was fantastic.
It was just one, as I recall, and you
No.
talked to her friend while I talked to her, and then as soon as she said she mentioned her husband, you were like, "Hey, we got to go." Don't we?
Oh, look at the time is what he's indicating.
You really
there.
don't want to get killed in Vegas for talking to someone's wife when
No,
you're just
no,
kind
you
of
do not.
walking through and you're with a star and they all start coming over. So it's horrible.
All right, guys.
Coming back.
Yes.
What's that?
Coming back.
For the
Now I can literally say I've had 2 appearances on.
Two
here.
appearances.
Yeah.
It does officially count as 2 appearances.
There
So
you
we
go.
thank you again so much. Coming up, we're going
Big
to be
applause.
with Ray Priebe. Applause for Chuck. And we're going to be back with Ray Priebe, Mr. 3000, after this break.
Hi, I'm Arthur Lee, CEO and inventor of LifeVac, a simple choking rescue device that saved over 4,000 people. 13 years ago when we came up with LifeVac, the design was to be safe and simple. You simply push and pull. There's a vent system, so when you push it down, the air will go out the side. There's a ball valve that locks when you pull it up. With any success, it's going to be copies. And normally that's the way it is. Now, LifeVac is FDA registered manufacturer in New York. A lot of these products, and this is one of the most popular ones, is made in China. But the real problem, it's about $10 to $15 cheaper. If you put your finger over this, you won't be able to push it down. Now, I understand money's money, but This is someone's life at stake. So if you bought this, make sure you practice and don't put your thing, if you put it like this or like this, it won't work and your loved one's going to die. I understand to buy a cheaper product, but you have to also remember when you buy a cheaper product, you get a cheaper product and someone's life at stake. So if you're thinking of buying it, make sure you understand you cannot do it this way. And two, if someone you love owns this, make sure that when they use it, they have the wherewithal in panic situations not to cover this vet with their phone. Strictly a PSA. Obviously, I hope you buy a LifeVac because I know it's good and I know it works because I made it and it lasts forever. But if you do go with this, please be careful. $10 is my life mistake. Thank you.